You're listening to The J with your host, Kennedy.
Hey, what's up, y'all? You are listening to The J, the Tomica podcast edition, episode number 3. And we got some important stuff to talk about, something that may interest you collectors, the hardcore Tomica collectors who are willing to import things and willing to get something really cool and special. And one thing that we're going to be talking about are these upcoming magazine releases from Tomica. So, I'm your host, Kennedy, and this is a podcast that deals with Tomica vehicles. And we'll often discuss mini cars, Japanese releases, and so forth, but the main focus is Tomica. And also, if you want to listen to my train podcast, definitely check out the Tetsudo Moke podcast edition, which we have an episode out just released yesterday. So definitely check that one out. But for this episode, since we did the rankings in the news just a few days ago, one of the things that I wanted to spotlight, and I also want to highlight for the Tomica fans, especially those living outside of Japan, are these famous collection magazines coming up. I talked about it in last episode about the releases and the planned monthly releases, but one thing that I don't think I even mentioned is that each issue comes with a car, and the first one will come out on May 30th for 990 yen. And it's going to be the Nissan Fairlady Z432. And then after that, every release will be about, I know number 2 through 6 will be about 1969 yen. And the 7 and onwards, I believe it's 1999 yen. And that kind of equals to about 15 US dollars. So in many ways, you can say that this is a definite advantage for those of you who are living outside of Japan, as especially the US dollar and other currencies are doing better than the yen. But I will tell you though, because of this is a magazine release, you do want to pre-order and get it immediately. This is not something you can wait on and say, yeah, I'll just purchase it, a month later or 2 months later. No, you want to pre-order these now, especially on Amazon Japan. There's no special sale, there's no special deal. You're going to have to pay for it at that price. So if you are planning to purchase other Tomica, or there's certain sets that you want, definitely add the pre-orders to that so you can get the benefits of the shipping and handling, because again, when you order from Japan, the shipping and handling will automatically start about $2,600. There's no way around that. That's how it is for Amazon, which is not too bad. But the thing is that you definitely want to take advantage of that shipping and handling by ordering other things. So get yourself a few cars or a set to make a set, but just be prepared for this magazine, because there's going to be some classic cars from Tomica's past that you'll want to get you'll definitely want to get a hold of. You can see it from the image right here. There are some classic cars right here that you could see, and yeah, pretty much there's going to be up to 20 issues. Well, they say that now, but I'm sure that it'll become so popular that they'll probably release more. Who knows? These are not big magazines. So in Japan, well, I'll use the train reference. in terms of the magazines. In Japan, they have something called The Last Run, and also there's another sister magazine of it where they're like 6-page magazines, and they come with a DVD, like sometimes over an hour or nearly 2 hours of content. But this one is the Tomica Famous Car Collection, and you'll be able to get many many types of cars for the next few months. So again, it's just single issues. They're about 12 up to 12 pages long, and they will come with a car. So definitely take advantage of it, and pre-order it now, not wait until the release date, because the chances of them being available will be slim. Magazines are something that especially those that come with some type of merch, they tend to sell out quickly. And once they're out, and then it goes to the next month, and you got to prepare for that. Already, pre-orders are now up on Amazon, so you need to take advantage of it while you can. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Okay, I'm actually doing some more research on here. So these are going to be bi-monthly releases. So there's going to be 2 released per month. And yeah, so have your money, get your wallet ready. Okay, so here it is. Nissan Fairlady Z 432 will be released on May 17th. On May 31st, it's followed by the Subaru 360. We got the Toyota 2000 GT on June 14th, and on June 28th, 2 weeks later, you got the Daihatsu Midget. The Isuzu Bonnet Bus comes out on July 12th, and the Mazda Cosmo Sport on July 26th. According to another news site, they're saying there's going to be a total of 60 Tomica models, that are going to be lined up. So, already I have the list. As you can see here, there's the Nissan Fairlady Z, the Subaru 360, Toyota 2000 GT, the Daihatsu Midget, the Isuzu Bonnet Bus, the Mazda Cosmo Sport, and then you got the Toyota Crown Patrol Car, the Toyota MR2, the Toyota GR Supra Racing Concept, the Toyota Supra, Toyota AA, the Nissan Skyline 2000 GTR, PGC10, the Nissan Skyline GTR, BNR32, Nissan Fairlady Z Patrol Car, the Nissan Silvia, the Honda NSX-R, the Honda Civic Type R Euro, the Mazda Yunos Roadster, which I definitely want. If it's Roadster is it's called outside of Japan the Miata. So the Mazda Miata and the 1990s editions are so popular, especially if you could get that green. Oh my gosh, I'm definitely going to get that if it comes out. Okay, the Mazda RX-7, the Subaru Levorg, Subaru WRX STI Type S, Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 4. So there's going to be quite a bit of releases, but it's going to be a little bit costly. Again, it's going to be, well, it's not costly. Well, yes, I have to say how it is. It's going to be a little bit pricey, because with pre-orders out right now, you're going to have to pre-order it while you can. So it is what it is. Okay, so with the 12 pages, you get the Tomica file, which I believe details the history of the vehicles, of that certain vehicle, and you get the Tomicapedia, and then you get the commentary. As you can see there, right on the top left, you have Morinaga Takoro, one of the largest collectors of Tomica. He's a popular economist and seen on TV. And you also have motor journalists who are familiar with the cars also chiming in as well. So a lot of people who have knowledge of vehicles and cars will be having some commentary in the magazine. So I think the Tomica file is pretty cool because you could see, as you can see a little bit from here, delving into the other releases and the history of Tomica. But yeah, this is going to be very, very cool. So let's go ahead and check out. Wait a minute. I'm just saying something here. Okay, so there are two versions out there. There's going to be the national version of Japan, Japanese release, and the Shizuoka version. So the Shizuoka version, they're only sold in Shizuoka Prefecture, and only 6 issues will be released. The national version will be sold nationwide, published up to 60,000 issues. Now, the people in Shizuoka were able to get these magazines in advance back in May 2022. The Shizuoka version was suspended after issue 6 because then they decided that they would sell it nationwide. So let's bring up a image. Here we go. So this is how it looked like when it was sold in Shizuoka, because you can see the boxes here. So it's good to know that the magazine will be in a special box. It's going to be a very thin magazine, but of course you get the box of the vehicles in there. I think this is going to be very cool. My goodness. I wonder which version is going to which version that people are going to really want. I think if anything, I want that Isuzu one. I mean, it's not this one, but I want this Isuzu Bonnet Bus. I think it's more because you can always get these other classic cars, but well, then again, the Daihatsu Midget and everything is all. I would like stuff that I don't have, and I think a lot of people who, who are active collectors, especially trying to go after things from the 70s or so, this will definitely appeal to those collectors. This is going to be big. So as you can see from this image from Amazon, there are people from Shizuoka who are already trying to sell their copies to get some money, big money, because some of them are selling it for an extreme amount. 59,400. My gosh, they want $500 for their set. So the good news is that it'll be sold nationwide. So I think that is a major plus. But let's go to the Japanese books. There we go. The pre-sales are up right now for every issue up to 2024. So you definitely want to get in on that. You can see already that shows that it does ship to the United States. You can see right here some of the covers that they have available. So yeah, you definitely want to take advantage of it. Again, it's a little pricey at that price, but it's totally up to you. If you really want to go for it, this is your chance to get some of those classic vehicles that you may have been wanting. That's if you're into classic Tomica stuff. So but I guess some people may say, wait a minute, I would rather have the original box, the 70s box, and with the original vehicle, and I can understand that. That is definitely something that collectors like, the vintage stuff. But I think because of the number of how much are released and printed, I'm not sure if it's going to be a short print run. It doesn't say. And I have not read any Japanese blogs that has a short print run, but we do know that magazines in Japan, we know that manga sells a lot. We know that, and photo books sell a lot. They do reprints, but I don't know if there'll ever be reprints for these. So I think once they're out, they're out. But Yeah, we'll see. So for this episode, one thing I want to talk about is that many people are familiar with the Takara Tomy brand, the popular long-running Japanese toy brand. Um, Now, when it comes to vehicles, there is also the TomyTec side of things that a lot of Tomica fans are probably not familiar with. And while people are familiar with, of course, the vintage and the limited vintage, the Neo, expensive vehicles, there's also other vehicles that are highly collectible and even more expensive, and that would be the diorama collection. Let's go through that right now. So, the diorama collection, a lot of things are created on scale for 1/150 in gauge scale, and sometimes they do make HO gauge scale as well. But there are differences from the Tomica version and the they call it the diorama collection. Part of it is the detail. So what people tend to do, including myself, is that when we create our dioramas for our train sets, um, it's one thing you have a train set, but if you're creating a village or a cityscape, you need to have vehicles, and that's where the 1/150 vehicles come in. But they are actually much more pricier than Tomica are. They're not die-cast metal; they're actually plastic, and you do have to even glue things together because some parts are. Well, I'll show you. The buses you don't have to, but the trucks you do, especially with the side panels right here. So, how these are released is they have them in mystery boxes. So, I think Hot Wheels did something like this as well in America, but this one is a similar concept where they release boxes. You never know what you're going to get. And people sell these boxes for, they get them for about 1,000 yen, and then they ended up selling it for almost 10,000 yen, like $100 to $80 USD dollars. And fortunately, Amazon has been selling sets where they know that all vehicles are represented, and you can just buy the full set that way. But that's what I tend to do because I don't want to buy all these mystery boxes and get trucks that I don't want. So for me, I actually, if you look back into my Tetsudo Moke podcast edition, I do a review on this. But anyway, the truck collection is one of the more popular ones that are released in Japan. And sometimes we do get Tomica editions of those, but the size comparison is quite different. Let me show you the sizes here real quick. Okay, so here's a side-by-side comparison, and this is the difference of quality. You have the Tomica, this one's the Mitsubishi Fuso, and this is from the 122 long line with the Hayabusa transporter, and this one is the it's a JOT truck, part of the DiaColle for the truck collection, that I think volume 11, and you can see the details here. So the reason why the DiaColle are so expensive is because, yes, they are smaller scale, and they know that only a certain amount of people are going to be purchasing them, especially those who have and invest in dioramas. So that's a subset of collectors right there. Those who build dioramas, especially they purchase the structures from Takara Tomy under their Tomix line, and also there are collectors who purchase from their TomyTec line of trucks, buses, and trains. The trains don't come with motors, but they're more for display purposes. These are also for display purposes, but again, people use them for their dioramas. That's what I use them for. I have roads, through stores and everything that you need something smaller to fit. These again are glued on, but the detail is amazing when it comes to these DiaColle releases, from the wheels um, to the canisters, the containers. That is, they're very detailed, and you can see why they fetch for a lot of money. There's not too many collectors that are that are getting them. It's a specialized niche of collectors that will get these, because for the price of these small vehicles, you probably can get many Tomica die-cast metal vehicles. So it's a different set of collectors, and it's even pricier and hurts the wallet if you are collectors of both. Unfortunately for me, since I do collect trains and I do have a diorama, I do get these, not a lot, but I do get these because because I have to have my freeway and my roads in my diorama, and I have to have a few vehicles, and it's cheaper to get them as a set. Now, as for sizes, this is the size of a DiaColle. So you could see a 1 yen and 10 yen coin. A 10 yen coin can be, I guess you could say it's like a nickel, and the 1 yen's close to a dime. So you can see how small they are. Now, as mentioned, the details are very strong on the DiaColle. They're very small. And one thing you'll notice, when it comes to reviews, a lot of people tend to give it, some people give it bad reviews, and those people who do give it bad reviews are primarily those who purchase these vehicles thinking, because they're like 2,500 yen or 3,800 yen, like $30 or $25 just for these vehicles, and they're thinking, oh, they must be big, that's why they're expensive. No, 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 no. And so when a lot of these people get these, they're very disappointed, because they see it, they see the size of how small they are, and many are disgusted by that. The unknowing people are disgusted by that. So when you get the Tomica and you get a 164 or something similar in the box, Tomica box, you know what size they're going to be, and you're getting a good sized vehicle. But with these DiaColle, they're even smaller. So that's something that, again, this is more for a special niche of collector, those who are building dioramas. And there are people who can build dioramas from their Tomica sets. There's a lot of DIY and a lot of third-party sellers who are making their own diorama sets that people can purchase to take photos. But for those of you who are wanting to get DiaColle, just know that they tend to be quite expensive. Sometimes you might see a deal on Amazon that are under 2,000 yen, under 15 USD, but most of the time they're not. I think the cheapest one I was able to get was based on a wrapping bus for the anime series and the video game series Love Live Sunshine, and they had one bus that was like 764 yen, which was insane for a TomyTec bus. So I had to jump on the opportunity. And if you do start to get into those, just definitely check the website for upcoming releases. But this is how a lot of the buses and a lot of vehicles, especially trucks, are released through Takara Tomy. Yes, they do release them for Tomica, but the stuff that you usually see on the freeways and so forth, they really do tend to sell those through their TomyTec line, and they tend to be expensive. You can't, again, if you cannot buy them separately unless you buy it from a reseller, because a lot of these resellers buy them in sets, and some of them, they just open the package and just glue them back up. So you just got to be careful, because you can't just look into and see what you're going to get. You kind of have to open them unless you buy a set that's already selected. They know already, the distributor sells them as determined sets that all vehicles are represented, and those are the best way to get those. But unfortunately, you're going to have to spend 8,000 yen to 9,600 yen, and you're going to have to pay that shipping costs, because they tend to be from third-party sellers. But again, if you're going to be paying the high shipping costs, you might as well just add a few things there to make the shipping worth it to you. So just wanted to get this out with the TomyTec stuff. So this is so there's ones with the trailer collection, but this is the truck collection right here. As you can see here, they have some upcoming releases, and well, some of them have been released already, and they come with these little road mats, and you get to see this. Again, looking at them close up from these photos, they look amazing. They look really well detailed, but you just have to remember. But look at this right here, 3740 yen. So that's about 30 bucks right there. You know, they look great, full of detail, but they're very small. So that's one thing that people must be careful between Takara Tomica and Takara Tomy's DiaColle, or their truck collections and their bus collection. Bus colle, Tora colle, they have different versions, but one that I bought recently and I actually did a review on is this one right here. It's the I actually did the volume 11. Volume 13 I wanted to get for the kangaroo truck and the Yokohama, and also these classic trucks here, but the thing is that they were very expensive. You know, oh, and also another thing they said is that there are 10 types in total plus one secret type. I've never, when I purchase a set, they usually come with 10 types of each of the vehicles. I've never seen the plus one secret type, unless the version that I'm getting from the reseller or the third-party seller just only includes in the original box. Well, you know, actually no. I did open the original box of it, and there's only enough boxes to hold 10. So I don't know where they get this 10 plus 1. So unless they put that plus 1 as a separate box and they just attach it when they send it in. But I can tell you right now, each collection that I purchased never came with a secret box. They just come with each of the 10 individual trucks. But again, these are not for everyone. They're very expensive, and it. You know, I will say though, they do have a good resale option, because if you do want to buy it used, people will sell them for like 15 to 20 bucks or more used without a box, and then you have to pay for shipping, which is like $7 or more. So, well, depending what region the person lives in, but these are great for collectors, you know, in one sense, but they're probably the most priciest aspect. Well, of course, we know that the vintage and the Neos are very expensive as well, but in terms of resellers, I see usually you see the vehicles even after months of release for the Neos. They go up to at least 6,000 yen for recently released stuff. But with these, people already start them like 100, not 100,000, but 10,000 yen to 130, 13,000 yen. Sorry, get my numbers mixed up here, but yeah, that's equivalent to like 80 to 110 $. So yeah, that is the difference between the Tomica and the diorama collection. These are very cool trucks. I actually like them a lot for their detail, but I will tell you though that they're just way expensive if you start getting into the buses and the truck collections, and they're super light, they're plastic, and they are not rugged, so you don't want to have, in some ways you do not want to give these to children. You step on them, they're broken. That's why if you just got to be careful what you're buying. A lot of people say, oh, it's Takara Tomy. Takara Tomy is Tomica, but no, 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 no. Takara Tomy has so many other brands out there, and for their vehicles that are in the diorama collection. Again, these are fragile. They're expensive. They have a lot of detail. They look wonderful, but at the same time, they're not meant for kids, and they're meant for special collectors who build diorama sets and so forth, or people who like smaller, engaged style of scale, very small, as I showed you in that photo. I decided, to compare the sizes of the Tomica Mitsubishi Fuso Super Great Shinkansen Series H5 Hayabusa transporter. Definitely cracked it open to see the box open to see how the comparison of size is with the Hayabusa versus an Engage Hayabusa. So this is the number 122 for their long line. As you can see here, information about how these trucks would deliver the Shinkansen very early in the morning, so they don't stop any traffic. But here we go, right here. One thing I noticed is just how I really like the scale, and the getting more trains in die-cast metal, especially for such the popular train. For those not familiar with the Hayabusa, it is currently the fastest train being used in Japan, and they are experimenting with the Alpha X, which is the big thing right now. But the Alpha X is not being. It's just a test vehicle right now. No one can ride it. It's just it's not for passengers. Unlike the Hayabusa, or it's the Yamabiko, which are similar, even the Super Komachi. But the Hayabusa is currently the fastest in Japan that's being utilized at I believe up to 260 kilometers per hour. But I believe with a few cars they actually made a record of I think at 320 kilometers per hour. I think 320 is the top right now for the Hayabusa, and the goal for the railways is to create a Shinkansen that can go 400 kilometers per hour. So when you go to Japan, there's a lot of testing right now. So the main thing is to have it go that fast, super fast. They're going to have to you do a lot of testing, which the Alpha X is being utilized. And then, of course, they're putting sound barriers, because the major concern is sound pollution, or the sound created by something going that fast. So right now in Japan, a lot of these railway companies are doing tests by putting sound barriers, because imagine, well, I remember, growing up, I used to live in a area that had a lot of naval planes flying, And I remember there was a time when I was younger where they would often make these sonic booms that would really shake the area. It used to be common, not anymore. I don't think I've seen them do anything in near a local area um, in a very long time. But back then, when I was a kid, they would do it often and often, and you'd hear your whole house shake, and it's very loud. So, but yeah, that's what they're working on. Their goal and their competition is the airlines in Japan for domestic. So the railways again is very popular in Japan. It's what most people ride to get to work, to travel, and it's one of the most economical. But of course the airlines are competing with that and making cheaper rates for domestic costs. But at the same time, the railways, they're not going to go down without a fight. Japan railways have been around for over 150 years, and they are one of the most powerful companies in Japan, and they make a lot of money. Not the rural ones, those rural ones have to fight to make their railways or people coming relevant, but for those big giant ones like JR East or JR Central, JR West, they're major behemoths. And this came after the JNR railways had to split up by the government because they were in so much debt. So a lot of these companies that were split up are now carrying out their own railways. Sometimes they do collaborations with each other, especially with JR East and Hokkaido Railway. But yeah, that's the Hayabusa right here. So here it is right here. This is an H5. You can tell by its lavender line right here. And there's the front of the vehicle. I like those little ridges right there. That's very nice of this Nitsu. I will say though that I've never seen a vehicle like this in Japan without the Fuso lettering. So I was a little surprised not to see that on the front of this vehicle. So you do get the Nitsu, but it would be nice to have that big old Fuso right across in silver. And you see here that's Tomy Vietnam. You just have to be careful when you put this in for the children, because if they put this in, not to force it. Only one way you can put it in, but some kids may try to force it in another way. These things can break and bend and break. So you just got to be very careful. And here's another side view right here. You can see the top. And then this is the comparison shot between a Tomica version, Takara Tomy Tomica version, and a Takara Tomy TomyTec version of the trucks. Very different. So let's go here. You can see the top sections right here, and the Hayabusa, and underneath the Hayabusa with the orange. And there's from the top, and the comparison with a Engage version. They both use the similar type of paint. Of course, with the die-cast metal, you get the more of the metallic look. You still get it with the Engage version. This is a Kato version, and it has the clear windows. And of course, it's slightly bigger. You can see right here, there's a comparison. And the stickers, the Tomica version uses the Hokkaido Railway. There's another version right here. I have to say that I really like the detail going for these side panels of the Shinkansen. For me, that was a major win to see that. Considering that Takara Tomy Tomic's division makes so many molds of the Hayabusa for their Engage and also for their plow rail, for their toy lines, it wasn't surprising to me to see something with this much detail. But I like that a lot. You can see right here the difference between the two logos for the GREs and the Hokkaido. And of course, looking underneath, the difference right there. And the size difference from the side. This is an E5 of the Hayabusa, but Yamabiko, the sister one, tends to use this as well. Pretty much the same Shinkansen, but used on different routes. There we go, another look. That's Tomica Nissan Skyline GT-RV, another one that I opened up and wanted to review. It's just amazing of how much these cars sell for Nissan Skyline. A lot of people want this GTR V-Spec NER, but again, you have to. I believe in the U.S. there's a 25-year rule where you cannot have it in the country unless it's 25 years. So I know there's a lot of people buying them right now because some of these 1999 vehicles or so are nearing that 25-year mark, and well, 2 more years ago I believe, and they just keep it at a friend's place or somewhere in Japan until they can legally send it over to the United States. But yeah, the Tomica premium line I really do enjoy a lot, especially for its quality. And this one, you can see the metallic paint with the Skyline GTR license plate. You can see the V-Spec tuner right there. Sorry if I said that incorrectly, but the doors do open. And for me, what caught my attention, of course, is this paint. That's one thing that Takara Tomy is very good is their paints, especially trains that also have this metallic paint on here. But you can see that detail. I really like that a lot. And one of the things I was looking at is just the amount of the mold of the actual detail. And you instantly notice the differences between the vintage and the regular Tomica, especially with the wheels. Okay, so that should do it for this episode. There's a lot of cool releases right now. A lot of the upcoming May releases are now available on for pre-order on Amazon Japan, so you can definitely get those really cheap. Well, I don't want to say cheap, but they tend to go down in price, but you tend to pay for the retail if you want to get it first. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do, because certain releases tend to sell out so quickly that you won't see it there for several months. But if you're patient and you're not in a hurry, just stick it out and just wait, and you should eventually see it on Amazon Japan. Especially right now, especially like the Kamen Rider stuff. After those sold out within the initial few days, it's mostly all resellers who want more, especially for the Isuzu Elf, the art collection truck. So for me, I I was not so surprised that those sold out quickly. As I mentioned, many episodes of Isuzu Elf sold out right away. The Kamen Rider, Shin Kamen Rider, that was going to sell right away. But I think if anything that surprised me was the Dunkin' Donuts set that just came out. I was surprised that that sold out just quickly. I actually had it in my the Tomica World Dunkin' Donuts new one. I had it in my cart. It actually had that same problem with the Kamen Rider, the first version. Had it in my cart and was about to check out, but I said, oh, you know what, I wanted to make the shipping work out because shipping was a little high, so I wanted to add more vehicles to the mix. And next thing you know, by the time I was about to check out, they were gone. So that's one of the things with new releases. You kind of, it's first come, first serve, and and you don't want to overthink it. So if you can pre-order, definitely pre-order it. Again, you may pay a little bit more than on release date or after release date. I think that if anything, that's one thing that drives Japanese Tomica fans crazy, is Amazon. They tend to sell everything at pre-order price in the beginning, and then a few days later they cut down the prices by several hundred yen, which really sucks. But they know that people are the first people who want to get their hands on these vehicles are willing to um, pay for them immediately for retail price. So they know Amazon knows this already, so I don't think they're going to change their ways anytime soon. But yeah, this is something that collectors in Japan tend to face. But again, if you're in Japan, you also have various sources such as Nakano, and Broadway, and also the mini Yudabashi and big camera stores as well, and other shops. But if you're overseas, unless you're in Asia, then you also have easier ways to getting things. But if you're in the U.S. or Europe, or somewhere in North America and in Europe, it just becomes a little difficult. Yeah, one positive is the fact that your currency is doing better than the Japanese currency right now, so you do get things a lot cheaper than actual Japanese people do in their own country right now, because the yen is just doing so badly. But you have to take advantage of it while you can. Otherwise, once everything starts to even out again, it becomes a little bit pricey. So you probably may have heard in Japan, for people who travel there a lot, they increased the prices of their JR Pass, and part of the reason, and a lot of people may say that, because the train companies are so big and greedy, but I think part of that is just the reaction that they know that people are taking advantage of things. It was rightfully so, because their currency is doing way better than Japanese yen right now, and with so many travelers coming to Japan, they had to increase rates. But one thing I didn't like is, of course, the dramatic increase. That was a bit too excessive. Almost 68% of an increase on the price. So, but it's still cheaper than Euro passes and passes from other countries, and you get to ride on great trains, and it's still, getting a JR Pass maybe for 7 days, 14 days, or 21 days allows you to travel throughout the country. And for those of you who are traveling to Japan or plan to travel to Japan, to go to a auto salon or some car event, or to various locations to check out shops throughout Japan, the JR Pass is still affordable. Sure, you may not get the 21-day pass or maybe even the 14-day pass, but the 7-day pass is still affordable. Almost the same price as the 14 as it is currently right now. But just remember, those rates do not kick in until October 2023, so you still have time. But other than that, I think that was pretty much it. I really wanted to talk about those magazines that are coming out for the famous collection for Tomica, because as more as I've seen it, and the more I start to read about it, and the vehicles available, and how Shizuoka got them first, and how the prices were just so freaking high. I think that for many Tomica collectors, this is going to be highly desirable, because getting certain classic Tomica from the 70s can be very expensive, but you can get it now. You can get it now with this upcoming release with the magazines. Sure, they're repackaged in a cool box, and it comes in the magazine, short page magazine, but still, it's a lot better than for some people, it's a lot better than spending a ton of money on some of the super first early releases. So you can do that now with these famous car collections magazines. But again, pre-order. You still have a lot of time. But those first two issues, you definitely want to take advantage of the pre-order now, especially for the first issue, because the first issue will be the cheapest at under 1,000 yen. Okay, everyone, you take care and you have a good week, and enjoy your Tomica, and enjoy die-cast metal cars. And no matter where you are around the world, take part in the various community message boards and so forth, and join the fun and join the community, and it's all good. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.